जिन्ना जी हैज़ बीन इन्वॉल्व काफ़ी सालों से इस क्रेमेटोरियम के बारे में चर्चा चल रही थी और बात हो रही थी एंड यू आर अ पार्ट ऑफ द बोर्ड एज वेल। कांति जी नमस्कार, वेलकम टू रेडियो मनपसंद।
धन्यवाद मनीष जी।
कुछ हमारे श्रोताओं को बताइए कि इसकी शुरुआत कब हुई और इसमें आपका रोल क्या सर?
इनकी शुरुआत तो काफ़ी सालों से हुई है और ये बोर्ड की जो सेमेट्रीज एंड क्रेमेटोरियम अथॉरिटी जिसको कहा जाता है,
अच्छा,
वो काफ़ी सालों से चल रहा है। इसमें मैं 6 वर्ष से हूँ और इनके हम सब चाहते थे कि एक क्रेमेटोरियम खास करके जो नए नए लोग आ रहे हैं ऑस्ट्रेलिया में उनके लिए प्रबंध मिले, क्योंकि पहले तो क्रेमेटोरियम थे मगर उसमें घर के लोग भाग नहीं ले सकते थे। अब ऐसा प्रबंध करेंगे जहाँ की खास करके हिंदू फैमिलीज़ में और जैन फैमिलीज़ में और भी फैमिलीज़ में, सिख और बुद्धिस्ट में, कि सब घर के सबसे बड़े लोग खुद जाकर वहाँ पे बटन दबाएं जब जो उससे पहले शमशान भूमि का जो प्रबंध होता है उसमें भाग लेने के लिए। इसमें काफ़ी लोगों की मेहनत हुई है मगर खास करके पिछले 18 महीने में हमने ये रिकॉर्ड टाइम में बना दिया है।
अच्छा,
क्योंकि इसके लिए रुपए की बहुत ज़रूरत थी और इट्स अ बिजनेस कंसर्न, क्योंकि पहले तो जो था यहाँ पे इट वाज ए प्राइवेटली ओन्ड, ये है तो पब्लिकली ओन्ड है।
अच्छा,
और यहाँ पे सुविधा भी बहुत अच्छी है। आप देखेंगे जो लोग यहाँ आएंगे देखने के लिए और जिनके फैमिली को आना पड़े यहाँ, देखेंगे कि यहाँ पे प्रबंध बहुत ही अच्छा है। और आगे चल के जो हम एशेस का राखी का जो प्रबंध है उसका भी हम कर रहे हैं।
अच्छा।
कैनबरा में 2 जगह पर, एक नॉर्थ में और एक साउथ में। वो तो मिनिस्टर ही बताएंगे आपको और समय पर, मगर बहुत धन्यवाद है।
तो ये ओपन फॉर पब्लिक हो गया?
जी हाँ, पब्लिक हो गया। यहाँ पे एक्सपेरिमेंटेशन भी हो गया और आने भी लगे हैं। कहा कि 2 हफ्ते से आने भी लगे हैं, फरवरी के अंत से। तो अब तो एकदम चालू हो गया है और किसी को भी इसका जरूरी पड़े तो यहाँ पे,
जरूरत ना पड़े तो अच्छा है
ना पड़े तो अच्छा है, मगर जिसको भी जरूरी पड़े
तो
वहाँ पे
यहाँ आ सकते हैं।
में आ सकते
और
हैं।
हिंदू धर्म, जैनिज्म धर्म, बुद्धिज्म धर्म में,
जी हाँ, और सिख
भी आ सकते हैं।
जी हाँ,
ठीक है।
जी हाँ, वो तो खास करके, मगर अब तो 70% लोग उससे भी ज़्यादा क्रेमेटोरियम का काम लेते हैं यहाँ पे। मगर सेमेट्रीज का भी प्रबंध है, दूसरे सब क्रिश्चियंस, इस्लाम के और सभी प्रांत के लोग यहाँ पे आते हैं, भाग लेते हैं।
बहुत अच्छा, धन्यवाद कांति जी।
धन्यवाद,
आप बहुत अच्छा नेक काम कर रहे हैं, लगे रहिए हमारे
थैंक यू वेरी
समाज के लिए।
थैंक यू,
धन्यवाद।
थैंक यू।
हमारे साथ बासु बंका जी हैं, द प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ HTCC, हिंदू टेम्पल एंड कल्चरल सेंटर फ्लोरी में जो है। बासु जी बताइए इस बारे में।
ये एक बहुत अच्छा इनिशिएटिव है। हिंदू धर्म के हिसाब से क्रिमेशन प्रॉपर वे में होना मोक्ष की तरफ बढ़ता है। इसका कंसल्टेशन हिंदू टेम्पल में हुआ था। उस समय हम लोगों ने कुछ डिमांड्स रखे थे, इंक्लूडिंग द फ्लोटिंग ऑफ एसेस। ऑल ऑफ देम आर बीइंग कंसिडर्ड और ईदर कंसिडर्ड। सो इट्स अ ग्रेट इनिशिएटिव एंड I hope this will help the Hindu communities and Hindu families to cremate their loved ones in a proper way to send them to heaven.
बिल्कुल। अमरदीप जी, representing the
I am the Sikh representative and secretary for Canberra Interfaith Forum. So interfaith तो सर्वधर्मी है जी। So my whole actually अगर सिख धर्म की टीचिंग की बात करें तो सिख धर्म में एक वर्स आती है, सम्मत साहा लिखिया मिलकर पावो तेल दे हो सजन सीसड़ियाँ जे होवे साहिब सो मेर कर कर एहो पहुँचा सदे नित पढ़न सदन हारा सिवरिया नानक से दे आवन। इसका मतलब यह है कि जो सम्मत है, जो साहा है, जैसे हम शादी में एक साहा निकालते हैं, एक हम दिन और डेट निकालते हैं, उस तरह ही परमात्मा ने हमारा वो दिन समय निश्चित करके हमें भेजा है किस दिन हमने जाना है। और क्यों ना उस जो हमें जिसने उनको हमको इन्विटेशन दिया है, दे के पहले से रखा है, उसको हमेशा याद रखें ताकि जो हमारा समय है इस दुनिया में वो लोक सुखी होए और वो परलोक सुहेला भी होए। सो इसी धारणा के साथ ऑब्वियसली लास्ट राइट्स आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, इवन दो सिखिज्म में द लास्ट राइट्स आर बिट रिलैक्स्ड इन अ वे कि हम अच्छे से बॉडी की संभाल करना चाहते हैं। क्रेमेशन इज़ द प्रेफर्ड वे। और एक अच्छा क्रेमेटोरियम होना जो कि अफोर्डेबल भी हो और कम्युनिटी के लिए अवेलेबल भी हो, सो जिसके लिए हमें बहुत ज़्यादा वेट ना करना पड़े। इट्स अ गुड थिंग, इट्स अ ग्रेट थिंग। आई थिंक ACT गवर्नमेंट ने जो कंसल्टेशन किया है सारे धर्मों के साथ, उनकी रिक्वायरमेंट्स को पता करना, जांचना और उसके हिसाब से इसका जो है निर्माण करना, आई थिंक दैट वाज एक्सेप्शनली गुड एंड वी रियली अप्रिशिएट दैट इनिशिएटिव। एंड आप जैसे लोग जो मीडिया की तरफ से इसको प्रमोट कर रहे हैं, और कांति जिन्ना जी का मैं नाम ज़रूर लेना चाहूँगा, जिन्होंने सभी कम्युनिटीज़ को इकट्ठा करके उनकी रिक्वायरमेंट्स के बारे में आगे उनको प्रोग्रेस किया। आई थिंक ही डिज़र्व्स दिस मेंशन एंड उन सब का बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया।
थैंक यू अमरदीप जी। प्रवीण जी, कुछ आप अपने रिप्रेजेंटिंग द जैनिज्म।
थैंक यू मनीष जी फॉर आप यहाँ पर आए और हमारा व्यू ले रहे हैं। एंड क्योंकि बासु जी ने और अमरदीप जी ने वैसे तो काफ़ी सब कुछ कवर कर ही लिया है, एंड वी आर थैंकफुल टू ACT गवर्नमेंट एंड कांति जी फॉर फैसिलिटेटिंग ऑल दोज कंसल्टेशंस। एट द सेम टाइम मैं भी इसी फेवर में हूँ कि जैन रिलीजन के अकॉर्डिंगली जो हमारा लास्ट रिचुअल्स होती हैं वो बड़ी इम्पोर्टेंट होती हैं, क्योंकि वो एक किसी का मरना एक दुखदायी चीज़ नहीं मानी गई है जैन धर्म के अंदर। इसको एज ए पर्व के लिए महापर्व के तरीके से माना गया है। तो महापर्व के अंदर या किसी भी इंसान का जो भी सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट दिन होता है वो डेथ वाला दिन होता है, ना कि शादी होती है। तो मे बी जन्म या मृत्यु दे आर द मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट डेज। तो और उसको एज ए महापर्व, डेथ को एज ए महापर्व की तरह माना जाता है।
जी हाँ।
तो इसलिए उसके लिए एक प्रॉपर जगह होना और बहुत ज़रूरी था। तो ACT गवर्नमेंट ने कंसल्टेशन करा हमसे और जो भी हमारी रिक्वायरमेंट्स थी उसको फुलफ़िल करा है, एंड दे आर ओपन कि और कोई कुछ रिक्वायरमेंट होगी वो फुलफ़िल करेंगे। यहाँ पर शावर फैसिलिटीज़ भी है जो पहले कहीं पर नहीं होती थी किसी भी क्रेमेटोरियम ग्राउंड के अंदर। तो यहाँ पर शावर किसी को कई बार घर नहीं जाते जब तक वो शावर नहीं लेके जाते हैं।
बहुत
तो यहाँ शावर का भी है, व्यूइंग की फैसिलिटीज़ भी है, यहाँ पर लोगों को मिलने जुलने की फैसिलिटीज़ भी
जी
है।
हाँ।
तो और यहाँ पर यदि जो किसी को रिचुअल्स करनी है तो वो बाहर आकर यहाँ पर हम खड़े हैं, वहाँ पर कोई रिचुअल्स भी कर सकते हैं। तो आई थिंक देयर इज़ अ वेरी गुड इनिशिएटिव, वेरी कम्प्रिहेंसिव, दे हैव टेकन केयर ऑफ ऑल आवर नीड्स, सो वी आर थैंकफुल टू द ACT गवर्नमेंट।
थैंक यू प्रवीण जी। बस ओम शांति ओम।
ओम शांति ओम।
आपका क्या रिएक्शन है, कुछ बताना चाहेंगे?
Actually, well,
अच्छा,
it's
Is it good?
It's a good thing that the ACT government has done, because death is inevitable.
Use that as the entrance, and this is the exit. Hey, what do you think?
Yeah.
It's doing it.
Yeah, we'll try to do that. Hey?
Okay. Am I the first one?
Yeah, I think so.
Why not?
Very welcome. Very welcome.
ये viewing room है।
This area
ये
is for family members, is it?
I think so. Somebody. That's the crematorium.
Middle of it, I think.
Under crematorium, I think you can see the.
I think body will go in there.
Yeah, that's right.
Visibility will be.
Yeah.
Christie, or Minister for City Services. Very pleased to be here to announce that the publicly operated crematorium is now officially open. This new crematorium is the result of community feedback. We consulted with the community on crematoria services and cemetery services over the past few years, and they unsolicited came back to us and told us that they wanted the ACT government to operate a publicly run crematoria in the ACT. We've got a growing population in the ACT. We'll hit 500,000 over the next few years to 2030, and we had only previously had one privately operated crematorium in the ACT. For our population, 3 or 4 crematoria are needed, and so the ACT government immediately set about working with the ACT Cemeteries and Crematoria Authority to make sure that we had the legislative framework in place, the pricing framework in place, and actually getting on with building a crematoria facility. That facility was completed on time in December, and we were working through COVID with a local manufacturer of crematoria in Victoria that's enabled us to get underway with this project. We've already seen the crematoria being used in testing and commissioning, and it's now providing another option to families to use in the Canberra region. Importantly, what we heard from the community during consultation is that 11% of people that were responding weren't having their needs met as far as cremation services in the ACT. And so this new facility will provide more inclusive access to our diverse communities to make sure that the funeral rites can be carried out for members of our Sikh, Hindu, Jain and Buddhist communities. We've been consulting with them to make sure that they can view the cremation as it's occurring and family members can participate in the cremation process. So this is really important, and we'll make sure that we have those services here operating in Canberra so that they don't have to go interstate to be able to access those services. Importantly also, this is a bariatric cremator, so it will provide more inclusive access for our community as well. And I'm happy to take any questions together with the chair of the Cemeteries and Crematoria Authority.
So as well as the 11%, or roughly 1 in 10 that weren't having their needs met, there was also a bit of a wait time, was that correct, at the other facility?
Because we only had one cremation facility in the ACT, unfortunately some people did have to wait some time to be able to book in for a cremation of a family member, and that did mean that people had to go interstate looking for other services regionally and sometimes as far as Sydney or Melbourne. That's just simply not good enough, and so the ACT government has stepped in and worked with the Cremation and Cemeteries Authority to make sure that this service was available to the community. We're also considering the availability of cremation services on the south side, and as part of the Southern Memorial Park, which will be located off Long Gully Road, we're looking at providing another publicly operated cremation service for the community, and we'll be consulting with the community on the first stages of that project over the coming months.
And can yourself or Mr. Bartos perhaps tell us some of the, I guess, planning or design features that cater to some of the more multicultural communities?
Yeah, sure. I'll hand over to you.
Thank you, Minister. Yeah, my name is Stephen Bartos. I'm the chair of the ACT Cemeteries and Crematoria Authority, formerly just the ACT Cemeteries Authority. We're very pleased we now have cremation. The cremator here, as the Minister said, is bariatric, which means it can cater for essentially larger people, bigger coffins, which saves people having to go interstate for that. The other element is that we have incorporated a viewing room. For some faiths, the family, particularly the close family, is required to actually view the cremation taking place. And this cremator here has a state-of-the-art viewing room that allows the immediate family to be able to see the cremation taking place. It's going to be able to cater for the needs of Hindu, Sikh, Jain and Buddhist communities, but also the whole of the ACT community, the people who have a preference for a public versus a private crematoria facility, and it'll cater for emerging needs as well. So it's been designed with an aim for allowing for future needs that we don't even know about at this stage, other emerging religious preferences or community preferences. So it's a very flexible facility which has been designed with an eye to being potentially able to be expanded to meet new needs as and when they emerge.
And is there a body of water nearby? Was that was part of the planning, I think, so that the ashes can fit straight into the
That's being sorted out separately between the Minister and the Hindu community in particular, where it's not simply a body of water but running water that eventually goes down to the sea, and that's being worked through right at the moment. So on this site there are a couple of dams, but they don't run through with flowing water through to the sea. Can I also, while I'm here,
thank a couple of people. This has been a long time coming. So it was actually originally thought of by the previous Cemeteries CEO, Hamish Horn. It was brought to fruition by our interim CEO, Cara Dunn, who got the construction underway and has been completed under our new CEO, Philip Shelley. So a number of people have been involved over time, including Lawrence Thomas, who is the project manager, Michelle Dariel, who is manager of the crematorium here, Mick Brennan, who's assisting Michelle, and Adam Gregory, who's the overall operations manager. So a number of people have been involved. It's been a lot of hard work. It's been built in record time for a new crematorium in Australia, and it's going to meet that big variety of needs that are now emerging in the ACT. With me here is Mr. Kanti Jinna, so if you have questions about the liaison with the particularly different elements of the multicultural community, Kanti has been involved heavily with that.
Thank you. Yeah, you want me to say? Okay.
Do you want to come up and make a statement?
I'd like to make a statement. And, well, one of the most important part of culture, and no matter which culture it is, it's births, marriages and deaths. And this would be in the process of life, the 16th sacrament that we go through. And it's a wonderful thing that we hear, especially from Stephen, as you've heard, that so many people have been involved to make sure that we get a crematorium where cultural needs are being fulfilled. I'd like to especially thank the Minister for making sure that we got this particular crematorium to fulfill those needs of the cultural organizations. In the last 20 or 30 years, we've had a lot of new people who've come in. They have been seeking ways of their final sacrament to be fulfilled, and what better way than one that is able to do this. And it's a continuing thing, as Mr. Bartos has said. We are looking for running water where it will be where we could inter the ashes, and we're very grateful indeed to the government to understand the needs of the multicultural community. About over 70% of the Canberra community is using the crematorium facilities, and it's going to be wonderful in future that more and more people can use this excellent facilities, which is in fact thinking for the future. So we're very grateful, Minister, and so are the people who have joined me today from the various faiths, the Hindus, the Jains, the Sikhs, and the Buddhists. And we're all grateful indeed for what you have done for us. Thank you very much indeed. One last moment. It's been a pleasure working with the authority, the members of whom are with us here today, and which is chaired by Stephen. So thank you very much for being a wonderful authority with which we've had to work to get this done. Thank you.
Thank you. I think the cameras can go on a bit of a tour, and we'll do some formalities out here while you're going through the facility.
Well, you guys stay where you are, guys. Thanks very much.
Say a few words. I'd like to firstly start with an acknowledgement of country. Dara Nuna, Dara Nunawal, Yangu, Nalamanyan, Dunimanyan, Nunawalwari, Daurawari, Dindi, Wangirlin Jinyin. This is Ngunnawal country. We are meeting on Ngunnawal country, and I'd like to acknowledge and pay my respects to the elders. Thank you everyone for coming here today, members of our Hindu, Sikh, Jain and Buddhist communities, members of the ACT Cemeteries and Crematoria Authority board in particular. Thank you for your support and feedback during the process that we've been undertaking over these past several years to deliver more inclusive services for our growing city. It is a more diverse city than it has been in the past, and the needs of the community haven't been met through the existing services, particularly in relation to crematoria in the ACT. And so we found the engagement with you very useful as we sought to work on the design of a new cremation facility here at Gungahlin Cemetery. And we're looking forward to continue to work with you to make sure that we're meeting the needs, not just here, but also in other places, particularly in relation to the new Southern Memorial Park, which the government is committed to delivering and starting work on. We'll be going out for consultation actually in the next few months on that. And as part of the master plan, there was a site for a new crematoria for the south side as well. So we're keen to make sure that that is a very special place, as is Gungahlin Cemetery, for our community to use. I'd like to particularly thank members of the board for driving this process. I think it's going to add a really valuable community service to the people of the ACT, and the work that's been done by TCCS as well in supporting that project. It's meant that we've been engaging very heavily on pricing, getting the pricing right for this facility to make sure that we can operate in a competitively neutral way with other facilities privately owned in the ACT. And I think we've arrived at a really good arrangement. We'll offer a more competitive price for these services, and that will provide a better option for people, for many people to choose from, as well as using the existing facilities that we've got here, like the new Memorial Hall for gatherings of people. And so we'll continue to build on this work, and I'm just so grateful of the engagement that we've had. And I'm now going to hand over to Stephen, who's got a few words to say as well.
Thank you, Minister. It's a real honour to be able to participate with the Minister in the opening of this new crematorium. The work that the whole of the board, the staff of the authority have put in, the staff of TCCS, Transport Canberra, and City Services, and in fact other employees across the ACT government have all made this possible. Major projects, the raft of people who've been involved with helping this come to fruition is enormous. So I'm not going to try to mention everybody by name, but it has been a collective effort, and it's been inspired by the feedback that we've got from all of yourselves and others who've said that this is a real need. It's, I think, not acceptable that people who live in the ACT, whose families are in the ACT, have to go to other states in order to have their final rights. Having it here in the ACT is a major step forward, and it's, I think, going to be an important facility. Main thing now is to encourage people to use it.
For sure.
Tell the funeral directors that it's here.
For sure.
Tell them that you have a preference for it, and make sure that the investment that the ACT government has made in this important new facility is used for the benefit of the ACT community. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
There'll be an opportunity as well to tour the facility, and I just want to close by also mentioning Deepak's role in this. I know Deepak's been through a difficult time with family over the last couple of years, and I think that's brought home the need for this sort of facility. And Deepak's certainly been a real advocate to me when I was Minister around making sure that we're meeting the needs of a diverse community. So thank you, Deepak, and thanks for coming along to recognise this important occasion.
It may seem unusual to think of a new crematorium being a cause for celebration, but for Manish Raj and the local Hindu community, this publicly run facility in Gungahlin signals an end to makeshift funeral arrangements and a return to traditional ones.
So you can do more rituals and more time spent with your the loved ones.
They can view the cremation as it's occurring, and family members can participate in the cremation process.
Until now, one privately owned crematorium has serviced the capital, at times struggling to meet demand.
Some people did have to wait some time to be able to book in for a cremation of a family member, and that did mean that people had to go interstate looking for other services.
And cultural and religious needs.
What we heard from the community during consultation is that 11% of people that were responding weren't having their needs met.
A lot of stuff was not available at that time, and we had to go by the rules and regulations as per the Norwood.
Now rites and rituals will be the norm.
If you farewell them nicely and beautifully, they'll find a beautiful, or you call the better life after death.
The government now looking at a similar facility for Canberra South.
And as part of the Southern Memorial Park, which will be located off Long Gully Road, we're looking at providing another publicly operated cremation service.
Emma Groves, Win News.